SELAH, SELAH, SELAH moments.
Hey everyone, it's Nikki Cherie, your corporate MC, mentor, and coach. And I know that I am coming at you live this evening with a quick topic that I wanted to share with you, especially given the parallels that I saw after coming out of viewing the movie Harriet that is now showing. And it's really interesting because as I took a moment to pause, reflect, restore, and renew from this week, I realized that I actually began this week with tears of frustration. And I ended this week with tears of joy. And so that space in between being frustrated and that space of ending in joy all stemmed from what I call a series of petty distractions. So I'm going to talk about how you push through a series of petty distractions briefly this evening as an intent to give you some encouragement. So when I watched the movie Harriet, I was really inspired. But what I found is that Harriet had some pretty insurmountable tasks that she had to go through in order to gain her freedom and then to go back and to bring others with her. And there was one pivotal moment in the movie where she had been bringing people to freedom, and the journey was going to almost be, I think it was going to almost be multiplied by like 5, because she had to go from 100 miles to 500 miles. And she stopped in the middle of a meeting with these prestigious leaders and said, I don't care about the miles and how far I have to travel in order to do this. God has given me a purpose, and I am going to fulfill my purpose, not because of all the things around me in the environment, but because I know that I heard from the Lord and I have a purpose to fulfill. So of course, that's my paraphrasing of what's happened. And so when I think back on this week and all of the distraction I've had, I realized that sisters embracing life and healing, many of you understand your purpose. You understand your call, or you understand that there are specific goals that you need to accomplish and to hit. And so if you're like me, you've got a series of activities and milestones that will lead you to get you to those outcomes. And then here comes what I call petty distractions. And a distraction, I had to look it up in the online dictionary, a thing that prevents someone from giving full attention to something else. It's also described as extreme agitation of the mind or emotions. Now, if you think about the definition that I just read to you, extreme agitation of the mind or emotions. Now, if you know that you have a purpose or an outcome and you're diligently working these series of steps to get to that, and what I call a minor or petty distraction agitates your mind or your emotions, how focused are you really going to be on accomplishing that end goal if you give weight or credence to that distraction? And so I thought about this week. This week I went from an important decision that I needed to make on the job with conflict, having to go to a funeral, planning a large party, an unexpected legal matter that has popped up, all of that wrapped up into 1 week. And there were 2 very important things that I needed to accomplish. And with that, these minor distractions kept popping up. And if I had paid more attention to those distractions than the outcomes that I needed to accomplish, I would have never ended the week with tears of joy versus how I began with tears of distraction. And so I know for me personally, when petty distractions happen, I've got to make a decision. Is this important or is this minor? Does it require attention or does it not? Does it line up in some way with what I need to get done, and then I therefore have to deal with it, this particular distraction, if you will, or incident? I have to classify it or categorize it so that I know whether or not I need to keep it moving, which is my motto, or let it go. and let it play itself out to a fizzle. And so a few things happened to me this week as I went through what's important versus what's petty. First is I refused to give into anything that simply drew on my emotion. If I knew that whatever creeped up this week was intended to cause me doubt, cause me fear, cause me an insecurity or a negative perception, I gave it no weight. I said, Lord, nope, my mind is shifting onto something else. Regardless of how it was going to play itself on that side, I decided I was not going to feed it. Second, I made an intentional choice. For example, a legal issue that was unexpected. I sought wise counsel in the areas where the distraction may have been important enough for me to give some energy to it, but why did it have to be my energy? I used an expert in one situation, and in another situation, I decided to seek wise counsel. Hadn't been through this before. I need your guidance. I want to make sure that I don't have any missteps. What counsel or advice can you give to me so I know how I need to maneuver so that I can still stay focused on my goal? And when I tell you the pressure and the weight that I felt at the beginning of the week after I sought that wise counsel, that's when the shift happened and those tears of frustration started to shift for me. So wise counsel and seeking expertise helped me to classify the distraction versus what was important for me to give energy to, but I didn't need to have it be solely my energy. The other thing, it forced me to accept the help from others. Now, I told you there were some pretty important events that I had to attend as well. I had to go to, on one hand, a funeral, and on the second hand, a celebration, all within a day of each other. And so I needed help. I needed help to make sure that everything ran smoothly and that both sides could be accomplished, because these were family members that were important to me. And I didn't want all the peripheral distractions to get in the way. And so when someone offered me assistance, I said yes. And that took the weight off of my shoulders, and therefore it dissipated the distraction. And then the other thing was that I rallied and I relished this week. Truly, knowing that there were things weighing on me, I rallied around the people who loved me most. Because when you focus on love, it will prevail in all situations. Because the word of the Lord says, if God be for you, then who can be against you? And sometimes you need to simply take a step back, release the frustration and the energy that is pulling you in a negative direction, and rally around the support of loved ones. Those who you know who are going to tell it like it is, or those who are going to simply give you comfort when you need it. But love is so important. And so I encourage you this week, sisters embracing life and healing. You are not here on your own. If you noticed, this week, in order for me to move from tears of frustration to tears of joy, it took the relationship and the bond that I had with other people. Whether it was me seeking wise counsel for an important decision and I had some distractions going on in the background that I needed to sort through, woo, what a relief. Whether it was an unexpected legal issue that I had no idea how to solve, I reached out to the expert and I'm going to get that matter handled. And so knowing that, released my frustration. Whether it was needing to be with the family for the funeral or the celebration, rallying around those whom you love and who love you back unconditionally is so important. And so this Selah moment is really meant to be an encouragement. Distractions, sometimes they come one right after the other, but remember what the definition said. Its intention is to agitate your mind and emotions so that you can get off focus. So I'm encouraging you this week, stay focused, stay clear, stay level-headed, go to your source and leverage love. Love will prevail in the end. Have a cool heart and a cool mind. Until next time, be blessed.